Mate, good to have a catch up with you again. Don't think we've spoken this year, have we?
I don't know, Tony. I don't know. A few times over the years, many times.
Yeah, well, something with you. You've been doing a fair bit of travelling this year, you know. So, can you tell us a little bit about where you've been and who you've been with?
Yeah, so obviously the whole team went with Izzy and Khan to Saudi, and then we had to very quickly transition through to Sydney, with Jose and Rongzhu. So, that was a busy start to the year. And Cam Ralston also fought in Sydney on Eternal. So we had 5 guys on in that couple of week period, which meant a bit of globetrotting, but that's the nature of what we do.
And of course, in the future, there's some coming up. The boys just about all signed up.
Obviously we've got Hooker, Gaethje, we've got Carlos Blachowicz. Kai's looking at something. Hopefully we can get Pantoja on board for that. We'll just have to wait and see, but that would be a great achievement for Kai. Navajo's warming up the benches. We've got Shibin, Rongzhu's training partner. He's preparing for the Contender Series. The Road to UFC finale. And guys on sure. We've just got mountains of guys and girls who are fighting. So it's a lot going on, but you really want to be busy in this sport. And in terms of the environment, it's great having the guys at the elite level competing at the same time as the guys who are coming up competing, because everyone will push and raise their level.
I want to talk particularly about one of the fighters that it was easy to see the affinity between you and Rongzhu. But it goes back a lot longer than when he just arrived here.
Yeah, when I first went over to the UFC PI in Shanghai, helped him with fight prep for one of his fights over there. He fought a Brazilian black belt in Brazil, BJJ guy, and he won that fight. Obviously you develop relationships. He obviously decided he liked what he was doing. He spent time with Mark Timms as well, who, to be honest, has spent a lot of time with the Chinese guys, because he's currently the UFC PI head striking coach and doing a fantastic job. Rongzhu came here. His career was very much on the line in that fight, I feel. He's just got back into the UFC. He made it first when he wasn't even 21, he was just 20 years of age. He got cut, told him to go away, mature. He went out. He won. He's now won 5 out of his last 6, but he won 4 out of 5. He just got clipped by an elbow in his reappearance in the UFC, which closed his eye, which meant he lost that fight. So this was huge for him. And against Cody Steele, he really needed to turn it on, and it was a very dangerous fight as well. But we did our homework. What we expected in terms of what Cody did came to fruition, which meant we were well prepared, and Rong obviously fought really, really well.
One of the things that came up was he'd missed weight a couple of times, and it was particularly hard weight cut this time, according to Eugene. Can you tell us about that and what you're going to do to rectify?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's easy enough to rectify. It was quite a short notice fight, in terms of we had him in a camp in case there was a fight going on, but we were pretty much informed that we wouldn't have a fight in Sydney. So you know what fighters do. Maybe they have a couple of extra pies on the way home from training, and then a couple of weeks later you're on, which is 4 weeks. So that's very easy to deal with. He made the weight. It was a tough cut, but he made the weight and he looked great on fight night. That cut didn't impact him, and I think there was a fair bit learned too in that cut, in terms of what you can do, some of the shortcuts that we can do to make the cut easier, and that's fine. I don't think we should really focus on it too much. He made weight, he won the fight, against a guy who's also a very big lightweight. So that's that's all that matters.
And he got better as the fight went on, stronger as the fight went on.
Yeah, well, look, absolutely. Which is kind of what you would expect. If the grappler can't get you down and you're a superior striker, you would expect that to start to, just pay dividends. Once Steele's athleticism started to go, his natural speed and power, then Rong's experience, his defence, his ability to pick him apart with the jab, which is a relatively new feature for him, that really came to fruition. And obviously his power, but I think the key thing there was we know he can whack, but he had to, in this case, we'll just say box. He had to fight smart. He had to fight technically. He controlled the fight with a jab, and it was a good mixture of, controlling the fight, touching in, and banging him up when he needed to.
Probably don't expect him back here, but he's not here, and is he going to come back?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Rong will be back. Guys like him are an asset here in New Zealand. We have overseas fighters who are now coming here, and we've developed a professional pathway for Kiwis. But also having overseas fighters choosing to come here offers us, one, a range of different looks and different styles, but two, it's advantageous for our own athletes. They can learn, they can grow. They've got role models who are already at the elite level, and it's a huge thing. And it's 30 years of hard work to create this kind of environment that's occurred just now. The harder you work, the longer you work, the luckier you get. And we're very fortunate to have these athletes here, and we want to be able to maximise the benefit of that for Kiwis.
With the Chinese in particular, because you were over there and then now Timsy's over there, is that something that we're going to see, a few more Chinese top-class fighters arrive here?
Oh, look, ultimately, I don't think it really matters which country. We've got a good relationship with some of the fighters. Fighters go where they feel they're going to get, the best advantages for their particular style. Rongzhu, coming from a striking background, he's well served coming here. It suits his style. So it just depends the relationship you have with the athletes, or their perception of the relationship, and how the styles gel and match up. But I think from any country, top athletes, provided they pass the no dickhead rule, which is our rule here, then yeah, come on, pack your bags, come and get involved.
How many top five fighters will we have by the end of the year?
I think we're already doing quite well with 4 or 5. Carlos is just on the cusp. I think he's 6 from memory. I think you're gonna find it similar. It's more to the point. Who can we get to 1 and 2? Can we get Kai to number 1? Can we get Kai to become champion? If Hooker gets Gaethje out of the way, that's massive. Because Gaethje I think is 3 at the moment. Carlos and Blachowicz. Blachowicz is a former champion. But we've also got to remember we're operating at the elite level. So at the elite level, which is something I often refer to, a lot of the guys who are sitting there with their in-depth MMA knowledge and their absolutely exacting knowledge of what goes on in city kickboxing, because they are experts at the game, they don't really realise. I remember I saw something recently about, you guys are losing. I'm like, it's very easy to have a winning streak when you're fighting bums and taxi drivers on the way up. The key at elite level is to win at the elite level. So what do you look at as your marker of success? Yes, winning. Yes, let's have a look at the number of guys who are in the top 5. Let's have a look at the number of guys who perhaps have been in the top 5, had a dip and come back because they've readjusted how they work with things. Those are actual markers of success in the sport. And we have to understand, when we're operating at elite level, very high levels of risk, we don't accept defeat, right? Absolutely, we want to win, and we're incredibly gutted when that takes place. But defeat at elite level, is also something that you have to, I won't say expect, but you have to be able to accommodate in order to get better. What are the small micro adjustments you need to make? You know, and you look at rugby teams who lose, you know, how many times in a season? But you guys turn up next Saturday to watch them play, don't you? So, you know, again, individual sport, not necessarily a relative comparison, but at elite level, sometimes you are going to lose. It still doesn't undermine the achievements. And more importantly, yeah, how can you rise? How can you come back from that? How can you make the adjustments to secure the win? And that's where we're at with some of these guys who are more experienced in their career. Guys like Nav, who's still coming up, you know, obviously it's more important for those guys to be maintaining, you know, that winning streak, to put them in, you know, that top 10 kind of space in 4 or 5 fights.
Yeah. As usual, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and lovely, insightful look at the game from somebody who isn't sitting on their bum on the couch. And
you mean in Grandma's basement? Oh yes, you know who you are, buddy. Yeah, oh yes, yeah. On that note, also shout out to Joe Parker. Great win over the weekend. Took on a really risky guy. You know, he was a heavier weight. Got him with that overhand right, which is undoubtedly his dangerous shot. But the setups for that, the jab work he did previous to, you know, in the earlier round, that was some really nice work from Joe. So shout out to Joe. Well done, mate. All right. Cheers, bro.
cool, mate. Excellent. Excellent.